Well, welcome back, guys. I'm here with my friends Claudia and Mike and Scott, and we're going to talk a little bit more about these assumptions and why they're wrong. And we're going to land on the third one right now, the idea that God will never be happy with me. And what caused you to believe that way?
Yeah, I grew up in a church that was very traditional, and it was very religion was taught as a subject, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but sometimes that can be taken out of context, and that just kind of causes a lot of disconnect. So there was a lot of talk about Jesus plus something, like Jesus plus tradition, or plus good works, and that kind of it just as I kind of went along learning all of these things about God, it kind of made me think I mean, I don't know, I don't know if I'm doing everything right, doing everything to make him happy. So when I decided to become a Christ follower, it was kind of when I realized that there's not a list of rules or a list of, just a set list of things that you need to accomplish in order for God to be happy with you. And that it's a constant growing and learning experience, once you realize who God is and his great love and things like that.
Yeah, because I mean, when you're saying Jesus plus something, I mean, you're saying there is a part of me, it's on me. Some of this is my responsibility, and I got to carry that weight for me to earn God's favor. And we often find that we fall short of that. What else do you guys think? What causes us to feel that way?
Well, I was just going to say, with the list thing, it's hard because the list stuff in the list it is helpful. A lot of times, there is a list of things that are good.
God does command stuff in the
he
Bible.
Does. So it's not like you can pretend because there is a far out thinking people that start to think oh, it's your own truth, whatever you think is right, do, and that's obviously not right. But I think that so that's a tension, So it's for me though, it comes down to you can do all those things, but it's still a matter of the heart, right? So you can do all that list of things, and still you're doing it for the wrong reason,
Mm-hmm.
So it's for me, when I realized that, it was a big deal for me,
Mm-hmm.
To realize I can do this, but I'm doing it because I'm prideful. I can
Mm-hmm.
help the poor, but I post it all over Facebook.
Yeah.
And I post it there because I'm really doing it just for the credit of it. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to think that because it actually is a good thing to help the poor, or anything in your life. It's things that you do, it's good things, but in the end, it's a matter of the heart. That's why it's not a list that you can check off, right. And that's I think important for sure.
So how do you deal with that tension that I don't just do these things to earn God's happiness or his favor, but I am called to do these things? How do you reconcile that?
To think that I could do something to make him be happier with me or so forth is difficult. It's difficult for me to understand.
Because God's character. He's not disappointed.
He's not disappointed.
He's loving.
He's loving, so it's not a performance-based, it's not a contract, it's not a performance-based situation. He loves me no matter what. So knowing that, I out of gratitude for knowing that he loves me so much, I want to be obedient to him. I want to do those things for him, and it's like an inexhaustible source of energy that he provides because he loves me no matter what.
Yeah, you're actually touching on something that we would see in the Bible, actually in the Gospels, that following Jesus isn't supposed to be a heavy burden. And it feels that way when you have tons of rules and you feel I've got to make him happy, I've got to make him happy.
He wants us to join him, and he provides all the energy. He provides all the juice that you need, So just going and walking with him, he'll prop us up. He'll carry us along with him and help us to achieve and become the person that he wants us to be. He'll get us there if we'll just go with him,
Yeah, and Jesus would say the burden's not supposed to be heavy. It's supposed to be light because you're following me. I'm carrying that.
And I would say I put the pressure on myself. It's almost I have to be constantly disciplined to stop doing that. I don't know why. I keep doing I go back to the checklist even after you have an experience where you realize it's not about a list of things. You go back there constantly.
Yeah.
And I'm why do I keep like?
Well, I want to ask that
Keep
question.
doing things and you keep getting the same result you used to. It's like, I mean, there's a lot of things I guess in life that you do that. You're like, keep doing the same thing. You change your behavior and then you go back and then you get the same result you had before. It's like, why do we do that? I don't know. It's frustrating. So for me, it's like a discipline to keep like remembering that God loves me no matter what. Like stop trying to like raise the bar. Stop trying to, do it. You don't need to do that, He's already like paid the price. He already loves you. He's already, went there. So
Why do we opt in for the checklist when we know that it's frustrating and exasperating? Why do we naturally go there, like you were saying?
I think because for me, I've just lived in the world that we live in. It's very difficult to conceive of a God that loves me no matter what. Whereas when I was brought up in the culture that we're in, it's just so performance-based, and if I have to do something to please somebody in order to get something out of it, it's just in my nature. So for me to conceive of a God that loves me no matter what is very difficult, and but He does.
So how would you explain to someone the tension of you don't have to have your act together and make God happy, you're okay to have a mess and come to God and He offers salvation, but He also expects you to grow and to learn how to obey those commands and follow Him? How would you reconcile that to someone who's having a hard time understanding it?
It's a really hard concept to grasp for somebody who's like, when you're very culturally ingrained in just all of the noise and just thinking about how you have to do things for others, but then realizing that like your efforts are fruitless, like when you're doing things by yourself, no matter where you are in life or like what's happened to you, like He, is just like is all knowing and just loves you enough, and that I just think that's a really, that's a tough thing to explain to somebody because you don't have to do anything to earn God's love. Like as a group of Christ followers here, like I know it's still really hard to like understand that concept.
Well, it's that you're living from love, not for love.
Yeah.
And the idea that I'm already loved. I don't have to earn this. And I'm actually now more motivated and more inspired to live in light of that than feeling demotivated that I can't ever measure up.
yeah, because I think we do that. Like I do that even with like love, like with my wife or like love with other people. Like I feel like I keep going back to like I have to earn it, and you don't. But you keep on like doing things to like earn it. So it also is just like probably just part of human nature. So you do that with God, it's even more incorrect there. It's like I don't need to keep doing things for my wife to love me. Like I don't need to do that. But like I do that with God too. So I don't know. It's just like so ingrained, for me to do that with everybody. And you don't like need to do that. You people that you truly love and love you, you don't really need to do that. But for some reason, I always think, or I don't even think, I just naturally do that.
Like we try to accomplish this outside of a relationship with Him or without His help, that on our own we can make Him happy by whether that's following the rules or figuring it out enough.
Maybe we just overcomplicate it, right?
Yeah.
I think we just like we get it. It's really simple, like you're saying. I think, and we just overthink it and put the list in there, and we just put too much into it. And it's pretty straightforward.
Well, great insights. Thanks for sharing, guys.